Hey everyone, welcome back to Enigma's World. In today's video, we're discussing the mysterious disappearance cases of people who were caught on camera just moments before they vanished. One moment, a young man is caught on camera at a convenience store. Just a few hours later, he's gone. No one has seen him since. This is the chilling story of Shawn Richie, a Halloween night mystery that remains unsolved to this day. Shawn Richie was 20 years old when he vanished in 2014. He lived in Fraserburgh, Scotland, and had spent Halloween afternoon with his family. He was happy, normal, and ready to spend the night with friends. But what started as a fun night out soon became one of Scotland's most baffling missing person cases. That evening, Shawn stopped by a local convenience store. He was alone. The store's CCTV cameras captured him, wearing a gray jacket, dark pants, and shoes. This would be the same outfit he was wearing when he disappeared. Later that night, Shawn and 6 of his friends went to a nearby farm to celebrate Halloween. Something happened there. An argument broke out between the group. And then, in a strange and unexplained moment, Shawn suddenly ran from the van into the dark wilderness that surrounded the farm. He would never be seen again. What makes this case even more chilling are the phone calls that followed. That night, someone called emergency services asking for help. But just a few minutes later, another call came in to cancel the request. Because of that second call, no police officers were sent. We still don't know who made the calls or why they were canceled. Shawn was reported missing on November 2nd, 2014. What followed was one of the largest search efforts in Scottish history. The terrain was swampy, thick, and dangerous. Over 200 police officers joined the search. One officer even broke his leg during the rescue efforts. But despite all this, Shawn wasn't found. 5 days after he disappeared, search teams found something chilling in a nearby bog. They discovered Shawn's gray jacket and shoes and belt, the same items he was wearing when he was last caught on camera. But that was it. No more clues. No trace of Shawn's phone, his wallet, or his body. In a shocking twist, one of Shawn's friends, the driver of the van that night, was later taken to court over an alleged axe attack on the same night Shawn disappeared. It's believed that the driver may have tried to attack someone with an axe. But in the end, he was found not guilty. Still, Shawn's family believes that something dark, violent, and possibly criminal happened that night. As of now, Shawn Richie's disappearance remains completely unsolved. His family continues to search for the truth and believes that someone knows exactly what happened, but has chosen to stay silent. If you know anything about Shawn's disappearance, please contact the Police Scotland tip line. How does someone disappear in front of their friends, leave their clothes behind, and vanish forever? Was Shawn running from something? Was there an accident? Or is someone still hiding the truth? Share your thoughts in the comments. Sometimes, the most ordinary moments hide the deepest mysteries. On a clear afternoon, with cameras watching, Melissa McDevitt stepped into the wilderness of Victoria, British Columbia. And after that moment, she was never seen alive again. How did such an experienced hiker disappear? And why did it take nearly a year to find her? Melissa McDevitt was 38 years old. She lived in Victoria, Canada, but was originally from North Carolina, USA. She wasn't just a weekend hiker. Melissa was a true expert. Her friends say she was about to join an elite group of hikers who had walked every trail in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, a huge accomplishment. But even the most experienced hikers can face dangers, especially in places they don't know. Melissa was also neurodivergent and may have shown some signs of cognitive delay, which made her disappearance even more worrying. Her family said it was out of character for her to fall out of contact. On December 10th, 2022, Melissa was supposed to fly home to North Carolina to visit her family. Her plans were made, her tickets were booked, but she never showed up for the flight. Her family immediately became concerned. Was the ferry from Victoria to the Vancouver airport delayed? Number. Was there an emergency? No sign of one. Then they found out something even more concerning. Melissa never even boarded the ferry. Her family, knowing this wasn't like her, quickly called the police. The next day, police found Melissa's car, a 2015 Subaru Forester, parked at Souk Potholes Regional Park. This park is famous for its scenic river views and hiking trails. It's beautiful. But in the winter, it can also be dangerous. Melissa's family knew she loved hiking. She was the type of person who could hike without a map or compass. But the Canadian wilderness is not the same as her home trails in North Carolina. Police checked security cameras at the parking lot. On December 9th at around 2 p.m., Melissa is seen walking toward the trailhead. She's wearing a burgundy long-sleeved coat, blue pants, and a hat. She's carrying 2 hiking poles. She looks confident, calm. But here's the chilling part. This is the last time anyone saw her. She simply walked into the woods and vanished. Search teams rushed in quickly, but the weather was against them. It was December in Canada. Freezing temperatures, dangerous winds, and rough, icy trails. Melissa likely planned a short hike and would have turned back before dark. But something went terribly wrong. Almost 200 volunteers, helicopters, ATVs, drones, and search dogs spent hundreds of hours looking for her. Her family even flew in from North Carolina to help with the search. But nothing was found. Almost 1 year passed with no answers.
I'm not remotely capable of finding my daughter, but you got to try. And I might find that proverbial needle in the haystack, and maybe that will be my gift of my lifetime to bring my daughter out. We are going to continue to hope that she will be a miracle. But it's equally important that we just have a recovery and that we can have closure for our family and take our daughter home.
Then in December 2023, volunteer hikers from a group called Mindful of Melissa made a heartbreaking discovery. They found Melissa's remains in a densely wooded area of Souk Potholes Provincial Park, about 2 kilometers from her car. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, RCMP, and BC Coroner Service confirmed it was Melissa. Police said there was no evidence of foul play. It appears her death was an accident. The coroner is still investigating exactly how and when she died. But updates have been limited to protect the family's privacy. Even before the discovery, Melissa's smartwatch and Garmin data led to a renewed search in July 2023. But at that time, searchers still couldn't find her. It took nearly a year and the dedication of volunteers to bring some closure to this painful mystery. Melissa's family, who had moved to Vancouver Island during the search, said they finally felt a small sense of peace knowing what happened to her. Hundreds of volunteers and multiple search and rescue teams never gave up. Their persistence made sure Melissa was found. Sometimes, even with cameras, technology, and massive search teams, people can still disappear. Melissa's story reminds us how quickly life can change, how even an expert can get caught in the unexpected. What do you think happened on that trail? Was it a simple accident? Or could something else have gone wrong? How can someone be caught on at least 10 different security cameras and still vanish without a trace? On May 5th, 2020, 28-year-old Devonte Van Morgan walked away from a motel in Mount Shasta, California, and was never seen again. His phone was turned off, his bank cards were never touched, and the questions surrounding his disappearance are still as mysterious today as they were back then. What happened to Devonte Van Morgan? Devonte, also known as Vaughn, was born on March 15th, 1992. He was 5'11", about 165 pounds, with short black hair and brown eyes. He walked with a slight limp and had several tattoos, including a lion on his chest, $signs, and the words motivation, dedication across his body. Devonte was known as a loving, family-focused man from San Francisco, someone who cared deeply about the people around him. In early May 2020, Devonte traveled with his girlfriend to Mount Shasta, California, a small town he had never visited before. For about 2 weeks, they stayed at the Cold Creek Inn Motel. Not much is known about their first days there, but on May 4th, things changed. The couple got into a serious argument. It was bad enough that they broke up that day. But strangely, they still spent the night in the same motel room. On the morning of May 5th, around 9 a.m., Devonte's girlfriend said she saw him leaving the motel. She said he looked upset. They didn't speak, and that was the last time she claimed to see him. But here's where it gets strange. Surveillance cameras around Mount Shasta picked Devonte up, walking through town. He passed the police station, walked through different areas, and even stopped at a convenience store, where he paid in cash. Cameras caught him at least 10 times that morning. But after 10 a.m., it's like he completely vanished. Even more suspicious, Devonte didn't have his phone with him. The last time his phone was active was 2 days earlier, on May 3rd, when he called his mom from Oakland. After that, his phone was never turned on again. His debit cards? Never used. His bank account? Never touched. It's as if Devonte walked off the face of the earth. On the evening of May 5th, Devonte's girlfriend called his brother, Anthony. She told him they'd gotten into a fight and that Devonte just walked off to cool down. She didn't seem worried at all, so his brother didn't think much of it at the time. But 2 days later, on May 7th, she called Anthony again. This time, she told him Devonte had been missing since May 5th. Now the family was alarmed. They pushed her to call the police and file an official missing persons report. At 9:15 a.m. on May 7th, she finally contacted the Mount Shasta Police Department. Her story to the police was a little different. She said Devonte had woken her up early in the morning to go out for a smoke break. They argued, got locked out of their motel room, and had to get the manager to let them back in. She claimed they both went their separate ways after the fight. She watched the sun rise, and he went off to walk alone. Later that morning, she said she saw him walking along Mount Shasta Boulevard. He still looked upset. She left him alone and returned to the motel, but something about her story didn't sit right with the family. Why did she wait 2 days to tell anyone he was missing? Why did she sound so calm when she first called? And why didn't Devonte have his phone with him, especially when it was working just fine 2 days earlier? Devonte's family strongly believes his girlfriend knows more than she's saying. His mother, Terry Barnes, has been fighting to get answers ever since. Terry has worked nonstop to find her son. She's spoken to the media, appeared on the Missing podcast, and shares frequent updates on her TikTok page, Mama T. Her videos about Devonte have reached thousands of people. But so far, no solid leads have surfaced. Devonte's bank accounts, phone, and records haven't moved since the day he disappeared. So, what happened to Devonte Van Morgan? Did he simply walk away to clear his head and get lost? Did someone harm him? Or is there more to the story that we just don't know yet? His family doesn't believe he would have just walked off and never contacted them again. They believe something bad happened, and they're begging for answers. If you know anything about what happened to Devonte Van Morgan, please contact the Mount Shasta Police Department at 530-926-7540. His family is offering a $25,000 reward for any tip that helps bring him home. How does someone simply jump out of a car in the middle of a neighborhood and vanish forever? This is the mysterious case of Cole Thomas, a young man on his way home for Thanksgiving, but never made it. The story gets stranger the more you hear it, and to this day, his family is still searching for answers. Cole Thomas was 22 years old in the fall of 2016. He had taken some time off from college to work in construction in Minnesota to save money. As Thanksgiving approached, Cole was getting ready to drive home to Florida to spend the holiday with his family. Before Cole left, a few of his new co-workers asked if he could drive them to North Carolina. It seemed like they wanted to get home for the holidays too. Cole agreed to help them. What he didn't know was that this ride would lead to one of the strangest disappearances in recent years. November 25th, 2016, the day after Thanksgiving. Cole's father, Chris Thomas, pulled into his driveway and found his wife crying on the phone with police. Cole was missing. The worried parents quickly packed up and drove straight to Benson, North Carolina, where Cole was last seen. His two co-workers told the police they were driving on Interstate 40 when Cole suddenly got off the highway and pulled into a quiet residential area. They said he put the car in park, jumped out, and ran away. Just like that. Cole was gone. No one has seen him since. The entire community came together to look for Cole. Search parties combed the area. Police organized large searches, but nothing was found. In an effort to figure out what happened, police reviewed surveillance cameras at gas stations, stores, and other businesses along his route. Finally, they found the last confirmed sighting of Cole. Security footage from a convenience store captured him wearing a light blue shirt and a baseball hat. That's the last known image of him. Cole's father, Chris, later revealed something even more concerning. He said that during the trip, Cole and his co-workers may have been involved in picking up narcotics. It's unclear if Cole used any drugs, but Chris believes that the situation may have caused Cole to panic. Did Cole have a paranoid episode? Was he scared of what they were involved in? Or did something else happen that we don't know about? 1 year after Cole disappeared, 4 men were arrested. They were charged with concealing a body. But here's the heartbreaking part. As of 2025, Cole's remains have still not been found. No one knows where he is. The case is still open. The mystery is still unsolved. If you know anything about what happened to Cole Thomas, please contact the Benson Police Department at 919-894-2091. His family is still waiting for answers. How does someone run out of a car in broad daylight in a quiet neighborhood and completely vanish? Was Cole trying to escape something? Was he truly afraid? Or is there more to this story that's still being hidden? Share your theories in the comments. She sent a final message and then was never heard from again. Caitlyn Potott, a young Indigenous woman, vanished without a trace in 2016. The clues are few, but the questions are many. Caitlyn Potott was 27 years old when she disappeared in February 2016. She was originally from Alberta, Canada, and was known as a kind, bubbly, and caring young woman. Most importantly, she was a devoted mother. But Caitlyn was also living through difficult times. Before she vanished, Caitlyn was staying in Enderby, British Columbia, a small town about an hour away from Kelowna. She had been in an on-again, off-again relationship with a man who, according to her family, was abusive. In fact, he had an assault charge from 2014 connected to Caitlyn. Even though they had a rocky past, text messages show Caitlyn was still in contact with him on the day she disappeared. She was reportedly upset about unpaid money. Despite all of this, the man later denied their relationship publicly and distanced himself from her. The last time anyone heard from Caitlyn was on February 22, 2016. She sent a message to her sister and her roommate, saying she was in Kelowna and had found a ride to Calgary through Kijiji, a popular classified ads website. She planned to eventually reach Edmonton, where her sister was living. But after that final message, Caitlyn went completely silent. She stopped replying. She never made it to her destination, and no one has seen or heard from her since. Surveillance footage later confirmed that Caitlyn was at a Kelowna shopping mall the day before she disappeared. But what happened after that remains a mystery. Her phone went dead. No financial activity, no trace of her anywhere. Because of the troubling circumstances, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police's Major Crimes Unit took over the case quickly. Authorities said they were treating it seriously and possibly as a criminal investigation. But over time, Caitlyn's family felt the case wasn't getting enough attention. They started working with Indigenous organizations and advocates, asking for more support, more awareness, and more answers. There are two main theories in Caitlyn's case. The ride was real. Did she really find someone on Kijiji? If so, who was the driver? Why haven't they come forward? The ride was fake. Did someone lure Caitlyn into a trap? Could her disappearance be connected to her troubled relationship? Her family has always feared that someone close to her knows more than they're saying. Sadly, Caitlyn's story is part of a much larger tragedy. She is one of many missing Indigenous women in Canada. This is a national crisis. While Caitlyn didn't go missing along the well-known Highway of Tears, many of the same problems exist here. Lack of safe transportation, inadequate support for women in danger, a system that often fails Indigenous families. If you know anything about what happened to Caitlyn Potott, please contact the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. On June 15, 2018, in Clarksville, Tennessee, a man entered a local gas station. His name was Marqualis Davis, a loving father of 6. But what happened next left his family searching for answers to this day. Marqualis Davis vanished without a trace. What happened to him? Where did he go? And most importantly, why has no one come forward? Marqualis Davis was a 33-year-old father of 6. His family says he was kind, loving, and always there when you needed him. His mother called him a kind-hearted person who would never walk away from his family, especially not from his kids. He was about 5'7", weighed around 150 pounds, and had noticeable tattoos on his forearms. On the afternoon of June 15th, 2018, Marqualis pulled up to the Marathon gas station at the intersection of Peachers Mill Road and 101st Airborne Division Parkway in a red and white truck. Security cameras show him walking inside the gas station and heading to the restroom. He didn't seem worried, and nothing appeared out of place. But then, something strange happened. As he left the building, Marqualis casually walked toward the side of the gas station near the dumpsters, and after that, he was never seen again. Even though no one saw him after he walked behind the building, his phone kept sending text messages later that day. But here's the mystery. No one has confirmed speaking with him after he vanished. Who was sending those texts? Was it Marqualis or someone else? His mother grew more and more worried when days passed with no word from her son. Things got even more alarming when his roommate called, asking if she had seen him. Father's Day came and went, a day Marqualis would never miss. His 6 young children never heard from him. His ex-wife said he adored them. He would never stay away willingly. His family began handing out flyers. They organized search parties. They refused to give up. But even after months, there was still no sign of Marqualis Davis. Today, 6 years later, his family is still waiting. Investigators believe someone in the Clarksville area knows what happened. Maybe someone saw something that day. Maybe someone has been carrying this secret for years. Marqualis's mother, Kim Davis, believes the truth will eventually come out. She hopes that someone's guilty conscience will finally push them to speak up. I know time heals all wounds, but there's still a void there. I know the truth will come out eventually. So, what really happened behind that gas station? Did he leave with someone? Was he taken? Why has no one seen him since? And who was sending those text messages from his phone? Someone out there knows the truth. If you have any information about what happened to Marqualis Davis, even something small, please contact Crime Stoppers at 931-645 or call the Clarksville Police Department at 931-648-0656. You could help bring answers to a family that's been waiting far too long. How does someone just vanish into thin air, even with cameras watching? One moment you're walking through familiar streets, the next, you're gone, as if you never existed. This story isn't just strange, it's deeply unsettling. And what makes it even more chilling is that no one saw it coming. Sarin Bennett was just 18 years old. She lived in Gisborough, North Yorkshire. She was described as a vulnerable teenager by her family and the police. She was about 5 feet 6 inches tall, with brown hair and brown eyes. When she disappeared, she wore a brown coat with fur on the hood, a black skirt, tights, and shoes. It all started on June 8th, 2025. At around 7 p.m., Sarin left her home. CCTV cameras later showed her walking calmly along DeBruce Way. Nothing seemed strange. She looked normal, calm, but her family immediately knew something was wrong. This wasn't like her. She had never gone missing before. Later that same night, around 9 p.m., CCTV caught her again. This time, she was walking alone towards Red Car Beach. That was the last time anyone saw her. From there, it's like she disappeared into thin air. Cleveland police acted quickly. Search teams, drones, underwater units, and officers were sent out. They searched Red Car Beach, the water, and the surrounding areas. Police Superintendent Emily Harrison told the public they were extremely concerned for Sarin's safety. But as the days passed, there was no sign of her. Then, something was found 8 days later on June 16th, 2025. Sarin's clothes were discovered on the beach, but Sarin was nowhere to be seen. Why were her clothes left behind? Did she go into the water by choice? Was it an accident? Or was someone else involved? There were no signs of a struggle, no witnesses, no clues beyond the CCTV and the abandoned clothes. Nothing else has ever been found, even after huge air, ground, and sea searches. The case is still open. Police are still asking anyone with information to come forward. You can contact Cleveland Police, reference number 105161. A quiet walk, a familiar neighborhood, and a teenage girl who simply vanishes into the night. This is the story of Sophie Reer, a case filled with unanswered questions, suspicious clues, and a possible link to human trafficking. Sophie Elizabeth Reer was born in 2002 to Patrick Reer and Nicole Twist. By the time she was 15 years old, Sophie was living with her father in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, after her parents' recent divorce. Her family described her as a girl with a bright, unforgettable smile. But underneath, Sophie may have been struggling with anxiety and depression. She was also known to be stubborn and rebellious at times. During her parents' long custody battle, Sophie made it clear she wanted to live with her dad. On the night of May 19th, 2017, Sophie was walking back and forth in her room, restless. Her father told her to get some sleep and then went to bed. He didn't know that this would be the last time he would ever see his daughter. At some point that night, Sophie left the house and began walking alone. The next morning, her father woke up to find Sophie missing. He immediately called the police. When officers checked her room, they found some cash inside a bag near her bed, suggesting she didn't plan to run away. They also found a candle still burning in her room, a small but strange detail that raised questions. Soon, police found surveillance footage from a neighbor's home. It showed Sophie walking alone late that night, wearing headphones, a black mini dress, a faux fur jacket, red Converse shoes. She was walking eastbound past businesses on West Davie Boulevard. She wasn't rushing. She seemed to be walking slowly, almost as if she was searching for something. Some people believe she may have been looking for a specific address. Police were able to track her phone's movement until it was turned off or died near Southwest 18th Avenue, about 2 miles away. Nearby, there was an apartment complex. Investigators later found out that Sophie knew someone who lived there. They got a search warrant and checked the apartment, but unfortunately, they didn't find anything useful. As they dug deeper, police discovered that Sophie had been searching sugar daddy websites. Her mother also believed Sophie may have been hanging out with the wrong people and said she had found stockings, garter belts, alcohol, and drugs in Sophie's room before she disappeared. Sophie had also recently switched to online school and spent a lot of time on her computer. The digital evidence led police to believe that Sophie may have been targeted by human traffickers or online predators. Investigators think she had contact with 2 men connected to the area where her phone was last tracked. Both men were reported to have links to drugs and trafficking. Sophie Reer has never been found. Her case remains unsolved, but many believe she was possibly lured by dangerous people online. To this day, her father and her family are still waiting for answers. Her case has been connected by some investigators to human trafficking networks in Florida. If you know anything about what happened to Sophie Reer, please contact the Fort Lauderdale Police Department. Even the smallest piece of information could make a huge difference. How does a young girl leave her home, get caught on camera walking through her neighborhood, and simply vanish? Was she running towards someone she trusted? Or was she walking straight into danger? Thank you guys for watching. If you liked this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the mystery bell for more mind-blowing mystery content every week.